Hello, fellow travelers and adventurers and explorers. Today I am doing a North Face Vectiv Futurelight mid-rise review on this hiking boot. Now, this is the older model, so I believe that they have a newer model out, but they are still relatively the same, so I think that it is worth doing a review of this hiking shoe. So the first thing, let's start with the appearance of these shoes. And as you probably are already noticing about me, I like things that serve a dual purpose. So when I'm traveling, I don't like to bring 1,000 shoes. I like to have a few shoes, if that. And ideally, I would like to just wear one pair and not have to worry about switching between hiking and city. And so I really want a hiking boot usually that looks a little bit more sleek and less like a hiking shoe. I don't know why so many brands insist on making a bunch of colors and I don't know, textures and swirls and gadgety looking things. Like I just want a simple shoe. How hard is it? So I think North Face did a really exceptional job with the look of these shoes. They're really sleek and clean, and you know, when you're wearing them, you can't even really tell that they are a hiking shoe, especially if someone's not fully, you know, checking it out or observing. It does have these metal things on the side, which I'm forgetting the names of them now, for your laces, and yeah, that does look a little bit like a hiking shoe. Also, the pattern that they put on the laces, which I could just change out the laces for a solid lace, and I think that that could potentially help as well. But overall, I really do like the way that these shoes look. Now let's talk about the features of these shoes. So the first thing is that these shoes are actually waterproof, meaning that you can submerge them into like a shallow lake or a shallow riverbed or something like that. You only can really bring the water maybe up to about right here on the shoe. If you go any higher than that, it does get into the shoe, which I'll go into that in a little bit. So it does have the waterproof feature, which is really nice. I'd say that the soles also are another interesting feature about this shoe, which I don't know if you can tell, but they're sort of arched or rounded in a way. And it's supposed to help you with your walking, like make it easier, but I'll get into that in just a minute. Also, these shoes have really great tread and traction. I don't think I have slipped once in these shoes, so that is a really nice thing about this particular pair of shoes. I also like that they put the tab here on the back of the shoe, so that way you really can get your foot in there nicely. And I do like that these metal, again, I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but these metal things are here, so that way you can really lace up the shoe nice and tight up on your ankle, or you can kind of just tie the shoe a little bit lower for more flexibility around your ankle. Another thing that I really like about North Face in general is that they have really good warranty and usually really good customer service for their products. Now, I will have to say their shoes are only warranted for 1 year, and that kind of sucks. And for me in particular, I think I've had these shoes for maybe 3 years now, and I didn't wear them for 1 year. I guess I just kind of forgot about them and I was wearing other shoes, and then I finally remembered when I was taking a big trip to South Korea. And so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, now I'm going to put these shoes to the test because there's going to be rain, there's going to be hiking, there's going to be all kinds of adventure out there. And anyways, so I wore them from that point forward, and I don't know what the exact number is, but I've worn them a handful of times. And on a recent walk just this past summer, these shoes started taking on water. So before, like I said, I was able to bring the water up to about here. And for some reason, just all of a sudden, I no longer can really submerge these shoes. So if any water gets in the lace area, they just totally take on water, which, you know, to that point, it does seem like they dry out okay if you can leave them outside or, you know, somewhere where it's a little bit warmer. And so I haven't had an issue with drying them out, but I tried to contact customer service, and the lady was basically like, well, it's been over a year, so too bad, so sad. So I don't know. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the term of their warranty with shoes, but you know, if that's something that you're aware of, then, you know, maybe you won't have the disappointment because your expectations will be set correctly. Now, in terms of the way that these shoes feel, so first of all, I would say that the sole of the shoe is actually quite comfortable. Like, these shoes aren't, I guess, super squishy, but they're not super firm either. So I feel like the inside of the shoe is really, really comfortable. And then also the waterproofing, because sometimes shoes that are waterproof can really just make your feet get really hot and sweaty, and it can be uncomfortable. And I didn't really have that issue with these shoes. I have worn these shoes in pretty extreme weather conditions. And yes, like if you're doing 90 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter, yeah, your foot does get a bit warm, but it wasn't so bad where I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have a completely different pair of shoes. So I think that they've done a pretty good job in terms of, I don't know, I guess the breathability around this. And for the fit of this shoe, I generally wear a women's size 6 in USA sizes. And this shoe is true to size. So I didn't need to size up or size down. It did fit quite perfectly. And then in terms of needing to break these shoes in, it's kind of a yes and a no. So I didn't really need to break the shoes in terms of like the toe box or anything like that. Like the bottom of my foot was completely fine. There is decent arch support, but on my left ankle, for some reason in this shoe, it just was rubbing the heck out of my ankle. And it took like, I don't know, quite a few wears for that to finally stop happening. So I don't know if it's just because I have bony ankles, and that's something that does tend to happen to me with shoes that are high enough. So other than that, like if these were a lower shoe, I don't think I would have had any sort of break-in issues or anything like that. I have used these shoes a decent amount, and the tread is still really good. And I've also, like I said, I've been doubling these shoes sort of as my city shoe when I'm out traveling and I'm walking on, you know, concrete and bricks and whatever else kind of hard flooring, which you usually don't want to do with your hiking shoes. But the tread has really held up for both of these shoes, and I'm overall pretty impressed with the way that these shoes are. Now, in terms of the things that I really don't like about these shoes, is the first thing is that I really don't like that the sole of the shoe is arched. And as I mentioned already, they did that because it's supposed to make walking easier, like propel you forward. But for me, I just felt like it created an imbalance. And when I'm walking up really steep hills or climbing something, it just felt like I couldn't quite get my footing right. Now, I will say that with time and wearing these, I don't know if I've kind of bent the shoes more flat and they used to be more curved. But it doesn't seem to be too big of an issue now. So I don't know if I just got used to it, or like I said, if it kind of flattened out as I wore it. So out of 5 stars, I would probably give these shoes a 4, maybe a 4.5. So like I said, to me, the best thing about the shoe is they're so comfortable. I love the waterproofness. I love the appearance of these shoes. And like I said, I'm just a little bit disappointed that I didn't really wear them that much and they started to take on water. So now it's like I can't trust these as like my waterproof shoes. And so, yeah, so that's the reason why it would drop down to about 4 or 4.5. If they would have held up, then yeah, I think that these shoes could have been perhaps a solid 4.5. Like I said, I really don't like the rolly bottom part of the shoe. It just caused so many balancing issues for me personally that it's just not something that I particularly like. Now, would I buy these again? Yes, most definitely. And in fact, I did look into buying these again. However, the customer service person, I don't know if they didn't know what they were talking about or what happened, but they were basically telling me that the new shoes are not waterproof, that they're water resistant, but I think that that rep just didn't know what they were talking about. However, it did lead me away from the North Face brand, so I did end up buying a new pair of hiking shoes, and I am going to review those in another video, so stay tuned for that. So if you have any questions about these hiking shoes, then just let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to respond. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.